probably got multiple Sophie Cunningham videos coming to you guys today because the Show Me Something podcast came out. It should be noted, my mom's side of the family, my mom is from Missouri, actually. What I said, I didn't think it was an ACL. MCL's better. That's like a 4 or 5 month recovery. I would assume she'll be plenty back by the time we get to May of next year. So anyway, Sophie Cunningham's podcast came out, and once again, look, Sophie, you dropping news every time you do a podcast. Can you go to twice a week?
Did Bria Hartley just end Sophie Cunningham's season on purpose? That's the question fans are asking after Hartley was suspended and hit with a lawsuit for what many are calling an on-court assault. But here's the kicker. This may not be the first time. With allegations of pulling Angel Reese by the hair and throwing Becca Allen to the floor, is this just who she is as a player, or is the league letting things spiral out of control? Stick around, because this case could change the entire WNBA forever. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
She had her eyes set on one Sophie, the trophy Cunningham. Sophie, get well soon. Hopefully the MRI later today shows nothing too serious. Would love to see you back on the court. Dirty Bria, of course, it had to be a dirty Bria. I would really hate to see ya in a dark alley. Dirty Bria Hartley back at it again. Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says,
how can something that happens during a basketball game end up in court? Think about that for a second. We're used to seeing hard screens, elbows flying, even the occasional shove under the basket. But those usually get labeled as fouls, maybe a flagrant if it's really clear. What happened between Bria Hartley and Sophie Cunningham is being painted as something way past that. Cunningham is now suing, and Hartley has been suspended, which means the debate has moved out of the arena and into a courtroom.
Did watch the play. Twitter says a lot of people saying it was dirty. She was like smiling after, whatever. You can say what you want about this. It didn't look dirty to me, just like a bang play under the rim. We're like in this heated midst of a discussion throughout the season that like WNBA refs like need to be better. The things have gotten chippy. People kind of bully the Fever.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. Feelings?
No, I don't, because I know Bria and I'm actually really good friends with Bria, and I have been waiting to get on the pod and so we could talk about this because I did want to tweet it out, but.
And that's a huge leap. The play itself didn't look like a normal collision. Hartley came charging at Cunningham, clipped her hard, and left her on the floor hurt. Fans who saw it in real time said it looked less like a basketball move and more like someone trying to send a message. Cunningham being sidelined afterward only added fuel. This wasn't just a bruise or a bump. She ended up with an injury serious enough for her and her team to take action. And the lawsuit flipped the story from bad foul to serious allegations of assault. That's where the tension comes in. Everyone knows contact happens in basketball. You fight through screens, you battle in the post, you absorb hits driving to the rim.
Bria Hartley is a dirty player. There's no other way to slice this cake. There's no other way to explain what we've seen from Bria Hartley so far this season. She was getting defended from the right side, pushing her left. She decides to fall straight forward with a little bit of shoulder action, falling into Sophie Cunningham's knees, grabbing Angel Reese's ponytail. What are we, in preschool? Body checking Skylar Diggins in the open court. What are we doing? Clawing at Becca Allen, leaving marks on her shoulder.
That's all part of the game. But what separates a tough foul from something malicious? Lawyers are now saying Hartley crossed that line. Instead of playing defense the way the rulebook allows, she's accused of making an intentional, dangerous move outside of basketball. And if a judge agrees, that means athletes could be personally responsible, not just fined or ejected, but legally accountable. And this isn't coming out of nowhere. Hartley's name has been in the spotlight before. People haven't forgotten when she yanked Angel Reese by the hair earlier this season, or when she tossed Becca Allen to the floor in frustration. It's like every time you turn around, there's a new clip of Hartley getting physical in a way that feels over the top.
Leaving blood dripping down from her hand. And now what do? Now you take a dive.
Imagine carrying around a record of incidents so long it looks like one of those endless CVS receipts. That's the image fans have been joking about online. And when there's that much history behind you, every new incident looks less like an accident and more like a pattern. What makes it worse is that referees didn't seem to rein her in earlier. Those moments with Reese and Allen were noticeable, but for the most part, the penalties were light. A whistle here, maybe a technical there, but nothing that suggested the league was stepping in before things could escalate. When refs in the league leave players to play through it, tempers usually boil over. And in Hartley's case, it looks like she kept testing how far she could go. That lack of consequences almost set the stage for Cunningham becoming the breaking point. Reactions from fans have been all over the map. Some people are furious and are calling Hartley a disgrace to the game. They say she's damaging the reputation of the league and putting careers at risk. Others shrug and say, that's just basketball. They argue that anyone who's played at a high level knows this kind of physicality happens all the time. But lawsuits and suspensions aren't normal. When one side is brushing it off while lawyers are dragging players into court, you know the situation has gone way past debates about playing tough. That's what makes Cunningham's decision to sue so important. Instead of letting the league handle it quietly with a suspension or fine, she's demanding accountability through the legal system. That single move changes how people have to look at Hartley's actions. You can't just say, she fouled too hard. Now the argument is whether she deliberately inflicted harm. And if that case goes anywhere in court, you could be looking at the first real precedent where on-court violence isn't just policed by refs or the league, but by actual judges. If that happens, it doesn't stay about Hartley anymore. Suddenly, other players have to think differently about how aggressive they get. The league itself has to protect stars in ways it maybe hasn't been forced to before. Because if Sophie Cunningham can push for legal action, imagine what would happen if someone like Caitlin Clark, the most watched player in the league right now, got hurt in a similar way. The conversation isn't just about one scuffle. It's about whether the WNBA has a culture problem and whether the safety net for players is way too fragile. Cunningham's lawsuit isn't just about payback. It forces the WNBA to face a weak safety system. Players should not need lawyers to feel protected on the court. If the league can't step in when repeated incidents happen, then who actually keeps athletes safe? And when stars like Caitlin Clark carry the spotlight, the stakes rise even higher. Protecting those players is not optional, it's survival for the league. So I want to hear from you. Should Bria Hartley ever come back after this suspension? And do you think lawsuits are the only way to finally fix the WNBA's Wild West problem?